Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles, so we're going to talk about Space Daddy Elon Musk. Twitter's board has unanimously approved the $44 billion takeover bid. He's one step closer to owning the Bird platform, right? And people are losing their freaking minds. We're going to talk about it. There is going to be months and months of gnashing of teeth and anguish and salt from people who have parked on Twitter for years. And, for all the claims of Twitter being a free speech platform, it's anything but. We've seen that, especially in the last couple of months, that Twitter employees are absolutely biased. And I think the platform will fundamentally change if it goes through. Because remember, again, Elon Musk is looking to see if the number of users Twitter has presented to him are accurate, if they're legit users and not bots, not sock puppet accounts. And I do think a good portion of Twitter is fake. But that being said, we are one step closer. It's so weird. During this entire process, we've had a lot of media outlets, and I just pulled up the Mary Sue to see if they've been saying anything about Elon Musk. But throughout this entire process, people have been saying he was joking, he wasn't serious, this was all an elaborate troll, he wasn't going to do it. And then once he actually, made the overture, made the offer, well, he's just trying to get out of it. He's not serious. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. Elon Musk isn't going to get a hold of Twitter. Oh my God, Elon Musk might buy Twitter. Yeah, we've been telling you that for months. I've been telling you that for months. Elon Musk, he jokes, but usually there is a kernel of truth when he jokes about things. He's just trying to make it more palatable, I think, when he joked about buying Twitter. And again, when he said he wasn't going to, take a board seat, it's because he wanted everything. He wants the whole thing. Now, that being said, I think Elon Musk owning the platform could be a good thing, because I think his goal for Twitter is to make it something that everybody uses. He's looking at China, he's looking at WeChat, and trying to be like, okay, why don't we have something like that? And, a good theory as to why we don't have nice things is because activists have taken over all of these platforms, and, not everyone is allowed to have or say the things they want to say. Now, he's been very clear. He's like, I'm not going to let people just say batshit crazy things, or we're not going to promote those voices if they're just saying batshit crazy things. But, the censorship has gotten ridiculous. There are things that were later proven to be true that were censored and excised from the platform. In fact, I'm seeing more and more content warnings and markups on platforms like Facebook and Twitter for very innocuous things. It's actually kind of crazy. And we know what the thought process is with a lot of Twitter employees. I don't need to tell you guys this. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna read what's going on, and then we're gonna look at some of the reactions out here on Twitter. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 271,000 subs on YouTube. Thank you so much for the support. Greatly appreciated. We've been following the drama with Twitter because, again, Twitter is ground zero for a lot of the weird stuff we're seeing in pop culture right now, in the quote-unquote culture wars. It originates from Twitter. Before Twitter, it was Tumblr. So a lot of the Tumblr people migrated to Twitter, and Tumblr, a lot of those people came from LiveJournal. So it's pretty much whatever platform is free and loud. A lot of, very far left activists tend to take it over. In fact, I'm looking at articles like this on Salon because a lot of people said they're going to leave Twitter. Not everyone has the luxury to leave Twitter. Not everybody can leave Twitter. Whatever happens with Elon Musk, social media is a work pipeline for some and a lifeline for others. We can't just leave Twitter. We can't just protest and leave Twitter. I'm like, well, you could go build something else. You could go build your own platform if you don't like Twitter and you don't like the idea that Elon Musk is buying it. And they're like, well, another billionaire is taking over another platform that we liked. I'm like, yeah, the purpose of most of these tech companies is to grow the company to a certain size and then cash out. In fact, Twitter was at one point for sale to Disney. I guess Disney was looking into buying it, and Disney did not want the headache of having to deal with Twitter. Could you imagine Disney owning Twitter? God, that would be a disaster. I might circle back to this article here on Salon in a little bit. But yeah, New York Post board unanimously approves Elon Musk's $44 billion Twitter takeover bid. Oh, master of the TDS, Space Daddy speaks. Yeah, I didn't even see the tweet until I pulled this up. Let's go out to the article. Board approves it. Elon Musk moved one step closer to completing his $44 billion takeover of Twitter on Tuesday when the company's board of directors unanimously approved his buyout offer. According to the SEC filing, shares of Twitter were up by just under 1% in the early morning hours on Tuesday, selling for slightly more than $38 a share, well below the $54.20 per share tender offer from Musk. So Twitter shareholders, myself included, may cash out if this deal goes through. Again, if it goes through. The regulatory filing comes just days after Musk held a virtual all-hands meeting with Twitter employees, the latest sign that the world's richest man is serious about following through on his acquisition plans. Last month, Musk said he was putting the deal on hold pending a review of Twitter's policies as it relates to bots and spam accounts. Musk threatened to cancel the deal unless Twitter offered definitive proof that less than 5% of its daily users are spam and bot accounts. I guarantee you it's way more than that. In recent statements, Musk said that he estimated as much of 20% of Twitter's 229 million users are spam bots, 4 times the figure touted by the company. I think it's more than that. I think if you're counting spam, you're counting sock puppets. I think there needs to be more verification on Twitter. I think that you should have I personally think you should have the option of muting accounts that haven't actually verified their identity with Twitter. That is my personal opinion. Be like, I don't know if I'm talking to a real person or not. So, I mean, you don't have to put your real name on there, but at least verify that you are a person and not a sock puppet. In a filing with the SEC on Tuesday detailing a letter to investors, Twitter's board of directors said it unanimously recommends you vote for the adoption of the merger agreement. If the deal were to close now, investors in the company would pocket a profit of $15.22 for each share they own. Jack Dorsey, the co-founder of Twitter, who stepped down as CEO last year, stands to pocket $978 million once Musk's takeover is complete. Parag Agrawal, the current CEO of the San Francisco, soon to be Texas, probably, based tech giant, will go home with a $42 million payday as a result. Yeah, so he's going to cash out, and he doesn't have any skin in the game, really. He has very little skin in the game. He can cash out and he can go do whatever the hell he wants to do with $42 million. Dorsey owns 2.4% of the company, which translates into 18 million shares, according to SEC filings. Agrawal would receive a payout of $42 million, while another Twitter executive, CFO Ned Siegel, would go home with $25.5 million. Agrawal and Siegel's payouts would be triggered by a so-called change in control clause in their contracts, which kicks in if either of them is terminated within 12 months of new ownership, assuming the helm of the company. Yeah, so that's a drop in the bucket compared to what Space Daddy is going to pay for Twitter. People are going to lose their shit. They're kind of already losing their shit. If you go out to Twitter, here's the Independent. Breaking news! Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter fully approved by board. Oh no, my days here are numbered. He's the weirdest looking guy. Ouch, how sad. Money talks, eh? Yes. Tragic. Then we've got this guy singing in the re. So there are some issues that need to be taken care of. Obviously, the bot issue is one of them. The price, I think he's going to negotiate the price personally, depending on what they find. They turn the fire hose on Elon Musk. Not everyone's happy. Again, this article from Salon, this is about a month old. But I got to read this because it's absolutely ridiculous. Not everyone has the luxury to leave Twitter. Shortly after Elon Musk threatened to buy Twitter, Twitter's board agreed to the $44 billion takeover offer, which looks more and more less than certain. This was, again, like 6 weeks ago. And shortly after that, Twitter users began making threats of their own to leave, outraged that yet another billionaire could seize control of yet another supposed venue for free speech. or that the space bro would make the social media site, often criticized for its lukewarm handling of harassment, even more of a viper's nest, perhaps even reinstating Donald Trump's Twitter account, some users acted on those threats. At the time of this writing, I've lost about 200 followers, and I'm far from alone in that, though it remains to be seen what exactly is happening, whether it's a purge or a glitch, or people are actually jumping ship, as some swore they would. Doesn't matter to me. As many women and users from marginalized communities have pointed out, the more Twitter followers you have, the less the site becomes enjoyable. That is true for everybody. The more followers you have, the more likely it is you're going to get harassed and called out for stupid shit, because these people live on this platform and they literally have nothing better to do. They really don't. I mean, we've got a couple that, like, I swear to God, they spend all damn day on Twitter tweeting about us, tweeting about other people. I'm like, do you not have a job? Do you not go to school? Do you not have family? I mean, do you live in like a cardboard box with a cell phone? Like, how are you on Twitter 24/7? Tweet, 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 and nobody's interacting with them. Hardly anybody interacts with them. You know, very few people do. And it's like, why are you even doing this? Like, it's clearly not benefiting you in any meaningful way. But I think it's just that power trip. They feel like they have a little bit of power, because in the real world, they probably don't have much. Anyway, I receive a lot of unsolicited direct messages from men via Twitter. Some of them are horrifying. Doesn't matter to me. It might matter to my future livelihood. As a writer in the 21st century, I'm expected to have a social media presence. I'm expected to promote my work online, but not too much, to be charming, but not too charming. And here is the problem. Here is the problem. This is exactly what we've been talking about. This is why Twitter is ground zero for a lot of cancel culture. Twitter, much more so than other social media platforms, functions as a hub for journalists looking for sources, as well as editors posting work. Many editors from a variety of publications use Twitter to post calls for pitches, stories they're hoping to hire out to freelancers. Unless editors leave Twitter, I can't leave Twitter. Unfortunately, there isn't another platform as sufficient for freelance writers as Twitter. News happens fast, and so does the assigning of people who get paid to write about it. For the years I worked as a freelance reporter, a competitive and difficult job, I answered multiple calls for pitches on Twitter. I found work there, earned bylines, and established long-term relationships with editors and publications. I wouldn't have been able to pay my rent without Twitter. So Twitter's a community, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, but when I said before that Twitter is a critical node for the mainstream media, I was not kidding. It absolutely is a critical node for the mainstream media. This is where a lot of journalists get together and frankly conspire against people they don't like, or organizations they don't like, or whatever the deal is. And you have a lot of people that have the same mindset, and they're all working carpetbagging from one publication to another, to another, to another. And if Elon Musk comes in, he tosses a hand grenade into that system. And personally, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It's very incestuous. You've only got predominantly one point of view that's being espoused by these publications, and most of these publications are failing financially. They're being propped up by venture capital. So it is going to absolutely be catastrophic for digital journalists if Musk comes in, and if a lot of people leave and people migrate to other platforms because everything is centralized. That might be the point. That might be part of the point. It's not that Elon Musk is buying a plaything. It could be that Elon Musk knows Twitter has potential, but he also has to clean house first, clean the site up, and also get rid of, well, frankly, some people that have caused him a lot of problems over the years. I mean, come on. You know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.